Have you ever wondered why some people just seem to have that magical ability to connect with anyone? They walk into a room, and instantly, people gravitate toward them. They make friends easily, build trust effortlessly, and influence decisions in a way that feels natural, not forced. It's almost like they have a secret superpower, a social magnetism that others just don't. But here's the truth. That superpower isn't a mystery reserved for a lucky few. In fact, it's a skill anyone can learn and practice. And the good news? That's exactly what Dale Carnegie's classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence. People teaches us how to unlock this power in yourself and transform the way you relate to others. This book isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about genuinely understanding people, connecting on a deeper level, and influencing with kindness and respect. Whether you're looking to grow your career, improve your relationships, or simply become a more likable person, Carnegie's timeless advice will guide you every step of the way. So, if you want to truly improve your personal and professional life, stick around. In the next 25 minutes, you'll get practical, easy to understand strategies that you can start using immediately, no matter who you are or what your background is. And before we jump in, if you find this summary helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more powerful insights, and check out the link in the description to grab your own copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People. Believe me, this book is a game changer and a treasure you'll want close by. Alright, now that we're all set, let's dive right into the heart of what makes human connection work and how you can win friends and influence people starting today. You might be thinking, this book was written in 1936. Can it really still be relevant today? The answer is a big, confident yes. Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People has stood the test of time because it isn't about fleeting trends or quick hacks. Instead, it digs deep into something timeless, our basic human need to feel valued, heard, and respected. Think about it, no matter where you come from or what era you live in, the way you respond to kindness, appreciation, and genuine interest doesn't change. Carnegie understood this universal truth. He knew that if you want to truly connect with someone, it's not about tricks or manipulation, it's about authentic relationships built on empathy and respect. This idea might sound simple, but it's surprisingly powerful. So many of us try to win friends or influence people by pushing our own agendas or by trying to impress others with flashy words or status. But without a foundation of genuine care and understanding, those attempts often backfire. They feel fake, forced, or even manipulative. Carnegie's approach is different. It teaches us how to truly listen, how to see the world through other people's eyes, and how to inspire cooperation by appealing to what really matters to them, their hopes, fears, and dreams. This foundation of respect and kindness isn't just a feel-good idea, it's the starting point for everything else in the book. Without it, no amount of persuasion or charisma will create lasting connections or influence. So before we dive into the specific techniques, let's take a moment to appreciate this core truth. Authentic influence begins with authentic care. Keep this in mind as we explore the principles Carnegie lays out, because when you build on this rock-solid foundation, the results can be life-changing. Why is that so important? Well, think about it for a moment. When someone criticizes you, how do you usually react? Do you feel inspired to change, or do you get defensive, hurt, or even angry? The truth is, criticism almost always triggers resistance. Our brains are wired to protect our self-esteem, so when someone points out our flaws, our natural reaction is to defend ourselves, not listen carefully. Carnegie explains that criticism not only hurts feelings but also damages trust. It puts people on the defensive and makes them less likely to cooperate or open up to you. So if you want to influence others, criticism is a dead end. But what's the alternative? Carnegie doesn't suggest pretending everything is perfect or giving empty compliments. Instead, he advocates for genuine, sincere appreciation. This means noticing what others do well, recognizing their efforts, and expressing your gratitude honestly. When you do this, you make people feel truly seen and valued, and that's a powerful motivator. Imagine this. Instead of saying you did that wrong, try saying, I really appreciate the effort you put into this, and here's something that could make it even better. That subtle shift in tone can open doors, spark cooperation, and even strengthen your relationship. And here's where the third idea comes, in something that might surprise you if you've ever tried to push your agenda on someone. People don't like being told what to do, but they love the idea of getting what they want. Carnegie teaches us to arouse an eager want in others. This means stepping into their shoes and understanding their desires, fears, and motivations. When you align your requests with what they truly want, your influence skyrockets, because you're no longer forcing, you're inviting. Put all three together, stop criticizing, start appreciating sincerely, and frame your requests around what others want, and you create a fertile ground where connection and influence can grow naturally. Ask yourself, when was the last time you genuinely appreciated someone around you, or thought about what they really want before making a request? If you start practicing these fundamental techniques today, you'll notice your relationships begin to transform in powerful ways. Ready to discover even more practical principles that will deepen your connections? Don't skip the next part. This is where your real transformation begins. Let's continue. Now that we've explored the power of sincere appreciation and understanding others' desires, let's build on that foundation. Dale Carnegie shares 6 simple but deeply effective habits that help people genuinely like you. Habits that anyone can develop with a little practice. Become genuinely interested in other people. First up, become genuinely interested in other people. This goes beyond polite small talk or surface-level conversations. Carnegie challenges us to truly care about what others care about. First up, become genuinely interested in other people. This goes beyond polite small talk or surface-level conversations. Carnegie challenges us to truly care about what others care about. When you show sincere curiosity about someone's life, their passions, or their challenges, it creates an immediate connection. Think about the last time someone asked you about your interests with genuine enthusiasm. How did that make you feel? Valued, right? That's the power of genuine interest. Next, smile. You might think it's obvious, or maybe even trivial, but a smile is an incredibly powerful tool. It's a universal sign of friendliness and openness. When you smile, you're telling the other person, I like you, I welcome you. This simple gesture can dissolve tension, build trust, and invite warmth in any interaction. And the best part? Smiling often makes you feel better too, because it triggers positive emotions inside your own brain. Now here's a small detail with a huge impact. Remember and use people's names. Your name is, without a doubt, the sweetest sound to your own ears. When someone remembers your name and uses it sincerely, it instantly makes you feel important and respected. Carnegie points out that people love hearing their names. It's a way to acknowledge their identity and presence. So make it a habit to learn and use names in conversations. It's a simple yet powerful way to create closeness. Moving on, be a good listener. This means more than just waiting for your turn to speak. Carnegie encourages us to genuinely encourage others to talk about themselves. People love talking about what matters to them, their experiences, dreams, and challenges. When you listen attentively and show that you care, you make the other person feel understood and valued. Listening is one of the most overlooked but effective ways to build rapport and trust. Closely related is the next habit. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. Remember from part 1 how important it is to arouse an eager want in others. This habit takes that principle further. Instead of dominating the conversation with your own agenda, focus on topics that matter to the other person. Whether it's their hobbies, work, or family, connecting on their terms makes them feel respected and engaged. And finally, make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. Flattery won't cut it. People can easily spot insincerity. But honest, heartfelt appreciation for someone's qualities, efforts, or achievements goes a long way in building strong, positive relationships. It's about recognizing their value without expecting anything in return. That's true kindness and influence. Notice how all these 6 habits flow naturally from one another. Genuine interest leads to smiling, which invites warmth. Remembering names personalizes the connection. Listening opens the door to understanding. Focusing on others' interests builds engagement. And sincere appreciation seals the bond. Here's a question to reflect on. When was the last time you truly listened to someone without planning your response? Or smile to brighten a stranger's day? Try these habits out. You might be surprised at how people respond. If you've made it this far, great job. You're already building the skills that set amazing influencers apart. And don't stop here, because coming up next is the part where things get really interesting. How to win people to your way of thinking. Stick around. Now that you've learned how to create genuine goodwill and make people like you, the next step is perhaps the most powerful: influencing others. Dale Carnegie's approach isn't about forcing your opinions or bulldozing through resistance. It's about guiding others to your way of thinking in a way that feels natural, respectful, and even enjoyable. Why is this so crucial? Because influence that comes from respect and understanding lasts. Arguments and force may win a battle, but they lose the war of relationships and trust. Carnegie begins with a truth that might surprise you. Avoid arguments at all costs. It might seem logical to defend your ideas strongly or prove someone wrong. But in reality, arguing almost always backfires. People don't like feeling attacked or forced to change their minds, and arguments typically make them dig in their heels. So instead of arguing, Carnegie encourages us to show respect for others' opinions. Even if you disagree, never say bluntly, "You're wrong." This simple shift sets a tone of respect and openness that invites dialogue rather than conflict. And here's something even more powerful: if you're wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. This might feel counterintuitive. You might think admitting mistakes makes you look weak, but Carnegie shows the opposite is true. When you own up to your errors honestly, it disarms any defensiveness and builds tremendous trust. It tells people your humble and sincere qualities that draw others toward you. Starting conversations in a friendly way is another critical piece. This ties back beautifully to what we learned earlier about warmth and sincerity. When you begin with kindness, you lower barriers and make people more receptive. Think about the difference between someone approaching you with a smile versus a scowl. The friendly approach invites collaboration, not resistance. Here's a clever tactic Carnegie calls the yes-yes technique. Early in a conversation, ask questions that the other person is likely to agree with, getting them to say yes multiple times. This creates a positive momentum and a mindset open to your ideas. It's like building a rhythm of agreement that gently leads to bigger yeses later on. Remember from part 2 how important it is to let others do most of the talking. This principle carries over here perfectly. When people speak, they reveal their true thoughts and feelings. Listening attentively allows you to understand their perspective deeply, making your influence more effective and personalized. Another subtle but powerful technique is to let the other person feel the idea is theirs. People naturally commit more strongly to ideas they believe they originated. So rather than pushing your viewpoint as something you invented, guide conversations so others arrive at the conclusion themselves. This sense of ownership motivates action far more than commands or orders ever could. Empathy shines through again here. Try to see things from the other person's point of view and show sympathy for their desires and concerns. When people feel understood, they're more likely to listen and be persuaded. Carnegie also advises appealing to nobler motives. When you inspire pride by connecting your ideas to values like honor, generosity, or integrity, you tap into deeper motivations that drive lasting commitment. To make your message unforgettable, dramatize your ideas. Instead of dry facts or abstract concepts, use vivid stories, examples, or metaphors that engage emotions and imagination. People remember feelings more than facts, so storytelling becomes a powerful influence tool. And lastly, sometimes a well-placed challenge can spark motivation and bring out the best in people. When you challenge others positively, asking them to rise to an opportunity or overcome a hurdle, you ignite their inner drive and inspire action. Look at how each of these points naturally flows from building trust and connection to gently guiding people toward your perspective. It's not about pushing hard, but about leading with respect, understanding, and genuine care. Here's something to think about. When was the last time someone convinced you by listening carefully and letting you arrive at your own conclusion? How did that feel compared to being told what to do? Reflect on how you can use these principles in your own conversations. If you're still with me, you're doing fantastic. You've mastered the art of winning people to your way of thinking without conflict or pressure. Up next, we'll explore the final part of Carnegie's wisdom, how to be a leader who inspires and uplifts. You don't want to miss this transformative section. Now that you've learned how to build rapport, influence others, and win them to your way of thinking, it's time to tackle one of the trickiest aspects of human interaction, leadership and correction. How do you guide people when they've made mistakes, whether at work, at home, or with friends, without causing offense or breeding resentment? This is where many stumble, but Carnegie's insights provide a clear, compassionate roadmap. It all begins with honest, sincere praise. Remember how we emphasized appreciation earlier? Well, leadership builds on that foundation. When you start by recognizing what people are doing right, you create an atmosphere of trust and respect. This isn't about empty flattery. It's about seeing the good and acknowledging it genuinely. It sets the tone and opens hearts before any difficult conversation. Next comes a delicate but powerful technique, calling attention to mistakes indirectly. Instead of bluntly pointing out flaws which can feel like a personal attack, you approach mistakes in a way that softens the impact and preserves dignity. For example, instead of saying, "You did that wrong," you might say, "I've noticed something we might improve." This subtle shift helps people stay open and less defensive. Carnegie also encourages us to talk about our own mistakes first. This is a beautiful way to build humility and connection. When you admit your own flaws openly, you humanize yourself and make it easier for others to accept feedback. It's like saying, "I'm not perfect either, and here's how I've learned." This approach creates safety and encourages growth. Instead of giving direct orders, Carnegie suggests asking questions. This empowers others to discover the solution themselves, increasing their commitment to change. For example, instead of commanding, "Do this differently," ask, "How do you think we can improve this?" This invites collaboration and ownership, making change feel less like punishment and more like progress. Another essential principle is to let others save face. Never embarrass someone publicly or harshly criticize them in front of others. Preserving dignity is key to maintaining respect and motivation. If correction is needed, find a private, gentle moment to discuss it. Praise every improvement, no matter how small. Motivation thrives on recognition. When people see that their efforts are noticed and appreciated, they're encouraged to keep improving. This positive reinforcement fuels momentum far better than criticism ever could. Give people a fine reputation to live up to. Express your faith in their character and abilities, showing you believe in their potential. For instance, saying, "I know you're someone who always does their best," can inspire people to meet those high expectations. This isn't just about flattery, it's about planting seeds of confidence that grow into real change. Use encouragement to make faults seem easy to fix. When people feel that mistakes are just small hurdles rather than insurmountable problems, they are more likely to take action. Encouragement breeds confidence, turning correction from a threat into an opportunity. Finally, help others feel happy about doing what you suggest by framing requests around their benefits. People are motivated when they see how change helps them personally, whether it's making their work easier, gaining respect, or feeling more capable. Leadership, at its best, isn't about commanding or controlling. It's about uplifting, inspiring, and guiding, a natural extension of the respect, appreciation, and empathy we've been exploring throughout the book. Take a moment to reflect. Think about a leader or mentor who guided you with kindness rather than criticism. How did their approach affect your willingness to improve? How can you be that kind of leader in your own life? If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've now unlocked the full spectrum of Dale Carnegie's timeless wisdom, from connecting authentically, making people like you, winning others to your way of thinking, to leading with grace and respect. Before we wrap up, here's a quick reminder. If you've found value in these insights, hit that like button, subscribe for more life-changing content, and don't forget to grab your own copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People from the link in the description. This book is truly a treasure that deserves a permanent place on your shelf. Now, what part of Carnegie's approach resonated with you most? Maybe you've already tried some of these principles or noticed them in your own relationships. Drop your thoughts and stories in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep connecting, keep growing, and remember, the true power of influence lies in the kindness and respect you show to others. By now, you've journeyed through some of the most profound and practical principles for building authentic connections and influencing people positively. From the very start, Dale Carnegie's teachings have guided you toward a simple but powerful truth. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Think about that for a moment. No matter how brilliant your ideas or how important your message, if others don't feel genuinely valued and understood, your influence falls flat. This is why kindness, respect, and sincere interest form the core of every effective relationship, personal or professional. You've learned to handle people with kindness instead of criticism, to make friends by truly caring about others, to win people over by seeing the world through their eyes, and finally, to lead with empathy and respect that inspires, not alienates. Each step builds on the last, creating a foundation of trust and goodwill that naturally draws people toward you. And here's something important. These skills are not about manipulation or tricks. They don't come from pretending to be someone you're not, or using clever tactics to get what you want. Instead, they come from genuine understanding and valuing others sincerely. That authenticity is felt instantly, and it creates connections that last a lifetime. So if you've made it this far, congratulations. You're already on the path to becoming a better friend, colleague, and leader. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, but every conversation you approach with these principles, every moment you choose empathy over ego, you grow stronger in your ability to influence with heart. As you go forward, keep practicing these habits. Watch how your relationships deepen, your influence widens, and your life becomes richer through meaningful connections. If this journey has inspired you, please like this video, subscribe for more insights like these, and don't forget to grab your own copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People from the link in the description. Trust me, the book is a treasure trove that you'll want to revisit again and again. Now I want to hear from you. Which principle from Carnegie's teachings are you most excited to try? Have you ever experienced the power of genuine influence firsthand? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's learn and grow together. If this video inspired you or gave you new ways to think about your relationships, please take a moment to hit that like button. It really helps us reach more people who can benefit from these life-changing insights. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into books and ideas that can transform how you live, work, and connect with others. Most importantly, don't forget to grab your own copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People from the link in the description below. This book isn't just a one-time read, it's a trusted guide that you'll find yourself returning to whenever you want to strengthen your relationships and grow your influence. Now I'm curious, which of Carnegie's principles spoke to you the most? Was it the power of genuine appreciation, the art of listening, Or maybe the way to lead without causing resentment? Or perhaps you've faced challenges when trying to connect with others, like dealing with difficult conversations or overcoming shyness? Whatever your thoughts or experiences, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and keep this important conversation going. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Remember this simple truth. People are the key to everything. Treat them with respect, kindness, and genuine interest, and you'll open doors you never thought possible. Until next time, keep building those connections and winning friends the right way.